Hello, happy Wednesday. Welcome to day 3 of our 5-day Get Control of Your Life challenge. Oh, looks like we're going live. Hello, hello. It's Wednesday. Welcome to day 3 of Get Control of Your Life 5-day challenge. I'm super excited to be here today and go through what we're talking about today, which is the action plan. We already talked about mindset and mind mapping on day 1. We talked about goal setting yesterday. Today, we're talking about the action plan. So hopefully you have had a chance to download your workbook. It looks like this. It's in the files section in this Facebook group. So if you haven't downloaded your workbook, make sure you do that. It's under files in this Facebook group. Download your workbook. It's about 7 pages or so. And each day we're working through 1 to 2 pages of the workbook. So again, day 1, we covered mindset and mind map. We talked about what your perfect life would look like. Who would be there? Where would you be? What would you be doing? If money wasn't an issue, time wasn't an issue, what would your life look like starting today for the rest of your life? We talked about all of that on day 1. And how do you want to be remembered when you're gone? How do you want society or your family or your friends or your colleagues to remember you? And then we all scored ourselves on the control that we feel in different elements and different aspects of our life. So hopefully that gave you some insight, because when you rate yourself on these things, this is mine, and you start to think about where you put your energy and focus in progress in certain areas. Most likely, those are the areas you rate yourself high in control. The areas that you're putting focus, energy, attention, time, money on making progress in that area will most likely be where you feel like you have control. The areas that you rated yourself lower are probably, if you think hard about it, are the areas that you may not be putting as much effort into making progress, not just time commitment, but actual progress in that areas. So that's what we talked about on Monday. So if you're just catching up now, go back, watch Monday's video. We talked all about that. And then yesterday, we started talking about goal setting a little bit and defining different specific goals and specific timelines in each area of your life. Because if you can define your timeline and your goal very specifically, then you can put together the action steps that's going to be needed to get there. And we also talked about why you might feel like you don't have control over a certain area. And the natural instinct for everybody, myself included, is to blame an incident or an event or a person, that there's some outside force that is holding us back from our goal. But the reality is, the only outside forces that we don't have control over for sure is the weather, the global economy, other people's actions and behaviors. We cannot control other people's actions and behaviors, and accidents and some serious health issues. Most other things we actually do have control over. We're just choosing not to make a decision to take control in those areas. So we talked about that yesterday, is setting our goals in each specific area with a timeline and realizing, why are we not there now? What are we not doing that we could be doing, and why? What's holding us back? And if we're blaming an outside force, maybe it's time to turn that around and look inside, because we have control over almost everything in our life. We have control over health. We can put on our exercise shoes. We have control over what we eat. We're the ones that are picking up the fork and putting the food in our mouth. We have control over our finances. We are the ones that are going shopping, checking out on Amazon. We're controlling how we're managing our own money. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you have control over getting the handle on that and changing your patterns and looking at your fixed and variable expenses. We have control over our time, even though we feel like we don't sometimes, because we're giving our time to everybody else. But the reality is, you can say no. You can say you're not doing that, or you can make some hard decisions if it's a commute or something career related, to either move closer to your job or look for a job that's closer to home. Or if there's other time commitment things, social media, carpooling, grocery shopping, housekeeping, what things can be hired off or delegated off so that you can buy yourself back some more time. So when you look at all the different elements of life that's in that first page of the workbook, and you're rating where you feel like you have control and where you feel like you don't. Think hard about the areas where you feel like you don't have control. Are you truly taking action steps to get control of your life in that level, in that area? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So hopefully you're practicing the 3 mindset exercises to get mind in the right shape, which is exercise 30 minutes a day, gratitude, whether it's a journal or just consciously being grateful for at least 3 things in your life that are different every day, and meditation, even if it's not a formal meditation, 5 minutes of stillness, minimum of 5 minutes. Could be more if you have the luxury of more, but minimum of 5 minutes of stillness where you're not thinking about anything else. You're not running around, you're not rushing, you're just in the moment and you're quiet. You're focusing on breathing and just looking internally for a moment. Those are the 3 things that will train your mindset to see the glass half full instead of the glass half empty, and to have the courage and the energy to make these hard decisions, to make these difficult changes in life that sometimes feel overwhelming or feel scary. But those exercises, if you're doing them every single day, will help give you the courage to make that decision, to make that change. So going into your workbook, if you look at that box on page 3 that says list 2 to 10 things that you can do in each area so that you feel like you have more control. What are some things that you can do? And we talked about, if you're not sure what you can do, you can look at other people who you consider successful in that area and write down what they do. And then you can emulate that. So that can give you some ideas of 2 to 10 things in each area to get to your goal. What do you need to do? If it's health related, what do you need to do related to diet or exercise? If it's career related, what conversations do you need to have with colleagues or bosses? What needs to happen so that you're getting your career to that place where you're hitting your long-term goal or you're making progress, most importantly? If it's financial, who do you know that is successful financially? Who is what you would consider financially free or financially independent? What have they done along the way? Have they made certain investments? Myself and my husband, we really like real estate, and that's been a big tool for us to get to a point of feeling a level of financial freedom. So what is it for you or people that you look up to that you consider financially successful, and what have they done? Or is it starting with personal budgeting? People that you look at that maybe don't have high salaries, but yet they seem to live a comfortable lifestyle. What are they doing with their budgeting? So pay attention, because success leaves clues. So what are 2 to 10 things that you can do in each area that will help you feel like you have more control of those areas? And why aren't you doing those things now, today? Can you start doing those things today? Why haven't you been? What have been the excuses in your mind? And are you ready to start doing some of those things? They don't have to be huge, they can be small. They don't have to be big, big, big things. Just small, small changes can make a big impact in your life over the long term. So, what are some small things that you can do starting today? Why have you not been doing them? And why have you not had that difficult conversation at work? Why have you not been, if relationships are something that suffer, why have you not been putting an extra effort into your marriage or into your dating attention or into friends and family, things like that? And what can you do now, starting now, to put effort into those areas if you feel like that is an area that is weak for you? And you feel that you don't have a lot of control, you can get control. It's just a matter of making a decision and starting to do it and starting to implement some of these small things. What are some skills? Maybe there are some skills or some habits that you need to learn, because we're not all born knowing everything. So we have to learn skills and develop habits. So what are a few skills that you need to learn in the area that you feel like you don't have that much control on? Is there something in your professional career, a new clinical skill, or something in management or in business? We teach a whole business boot camp course for medical professionals to understand more about business, to help them be a more effective negotiator, or maybe start a side hustle. So is there a tool that you need to learn from, or a skill that you need to learn, or a habit that you need to develop, right? If it's health, Is there a habit? Like, how can you get yourself into the workout habit every single day? So for me, if I don't lay out my workout clothes, so in the morning when I wake up, if they're not right there, just trying to decide what I'm going to wear is already an obstacle that I'll be like, oh, forget it. I'll work out later, and then I don't do it. So laying out the clothes right there, looking on my workout app, seeing what classes are going to be at 7:30 or 8 in the morning. That's when I like to work out, and registering for them, taking action to register for them, not just saying, well, I'll see how I feel in the morning. So what are things that you can do now, or what are some skills and tools? Maybe it's financially, maybe finally meeting with a certified financial planner, or maybe looking back at some of the free videos that we have at Certified PA Consulting on personal budgeting, starting there, that's free, and start to get some fundamentals on personal budgeting so that you can get a handle on your finances so you don't feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck and you have some extra money. So what are the things you can do? What skills do you need to learn? Make a list of all the skills in each area that you feel like you don't have control over, skills that you could learn. Are there maybe some books you might want to read, or some things without getting stuck in analysis paralysis, because we want momentum and progress? But what are some skills? And then what are some habits? So if health is a concern or something you feel low control over, how are you going to get those habits? Is it laying out your clothes? Is it accountability partners? Is it joining a group? What is it going to be for you to be accountable? Same thing in the financial arena. What is it for a ritual? A habit? Are you going to be logging into your bank account more regularly so that you can assess your cash flow a little bit better? Are you going to work with a coach, or somebody like us, what we do at Certified PA Consulting, or CaseyDamato.com, to help keep you accountable and on track for your career goals and your financial goals, to make sure everything's aligning on the trajectory that you want it to be on? So, what can you do now? There are things, and they can be small things. I just posted quite a few books. I'm going to add a lot more resources on CaseyDamato.com of tools and books and things that I use, whether it's learning or lifestyle, things like that. So I'm adding to that. It's a brand new page. I became an Amazon affiliate partner, and I have a whole bunch of products that are easy to order from Amazon on that page. And I'm going to continue to add to that in case it helps anybody else. So there's always things that you can do, new skills and new habits in the areas that you feel like you don't have control over, because the areas that you do feel strong that you have control on, I bet you have really good habits and skills in that area. I bet you're an expert in that area and you have very consistent habits in that area. Well, now it's time to look at the areas where you don't feel like you have a lot of control and start to learn some skills and tools and develop some habits so that you are paying attention to those areas of your life on a consistent basis so that they are top of mind, because where your focus goes and your energy flows, that is where your life will change. And it can happen with just some small, small, small changes in your life. Small decisions that you make now can change your life trajectory for a very long time to come. And so I want to share one story from a client that I worked with, because it relates to goals and also to actions. And this particular client was coming from a medical professional background, was a PA, and maybe wanted to dabble with some non-clinical professions, thought maybe clinical role wasn't for her, wanted to do some things that were non-clinical, and thinking about pharmaceutical, thinking about teaching, and thinking about some other areas where other PAs have gone in the other career trajectories, other PAs have carved out paths in the past. And as we started talking a little bit more, we started talking about lifestyle goals, and she didn't really want to travel too much. She had a family, and then started talking about things she was passionate about. And her husband had a small business, and she was very involved in her off time and helping and supporting her husband. And we started talking a little bit more, and she had a lot of passion. And all of a sudden, she had all these ideas and visions for her husband's company. And so I asked her, well, why are you not exploring these skills? You have some preliminary skills in business, in developing these skills a little bit more, and maybe go full time with your husband's business. And she thought, Well, I don't know about that because other people expect me to use my PA degree, my medical background. How could I shift to something completely non-clinical? And the end of the day is there's no rules. You don't have to abide by a rule that society made for you or somebody else made for you. If you have a passion and a goal for your life, whether it's a financial goal, a lifestyle goal, a goal around your family, whatever it might be, and there's a opportunity there, all it takes is a few tools and a few skills, and then your action plan that you're going to put in place to actually start. So she tested a couple things, a couple of her ideas with her husband's business. And guess what? The business started taking off. It actually increased revenue by almost 20% in a very short period of time. And that was enough to cover not all of her salary, but almost a good portion of it. And she was able to retire from clinical care and join on when partner with her husband's business and continue to grow this business. So all it took was a small decision, learning a couple of tools and skills, and then writing down some new habits and things she was going to do related to tracking finance, because that was her role, was a little bit more in the finance, a little bit more role in the marketing, how to track those things, develop habits so that she could monitor her progress. So daily and weekly and monthly check-ins on her goals and where she wanted to go. And then all of a sudden she's seeing things working. So what did she need to do? She put her notice in on to leave, to make her exit for her clinical opportunity, and went full time to develop this business and grow this business and this passion. And so, who kept her accountable? Well, we did, right? Because we were working together and working with her as career coach and life coach. So we helped her through this process initially. And then she spread her wings and she was able to fly because everything fell into place as she developed the skills, as she developed the habits, saw the results, tested them, and then never looked back. And so those are the things that will change your life, because sometimes we're tunnel visioned and we're thinking we have a degree after our name, or we're on this path and their outside world expects us to stay on this path, but you don't have to stay on that path. So if you look back to what we talked about on Monday of your original goals of your perfect life and how you want to be remembered and all those things, and you're rating all the different areas of life where you have control and really assessing that the areas you have control over are probably where you're putting energy into progress, and the areas you don't are the areas that maybe you're neglecting a little bit. And you think about who or what might be the excuses or the blame, turn that around and take ownership and say, you know what, I can do this. I just need a couple of tools and skills and a couple of habits, and I can make some massive changes to my life with just some very small decisions that I'm going to make today to elevate my life and to try some things to get to the next level. So that is the second part of the workbook, is the second part for today, what can you do now so that you can actually gain the control that you're seeking? Who do you need to talk to? Is there somebody that you need to talk to? Is it a coach? Is it somebody else who's been successful in a certain area? What is it that you need to do to get control that you need today? And really think about also who will keep you accountable. Who's going to keep you accountable? Because it's easy to kind of fall off the wagon when you're going by yourself, because there's everyday life and responsibilities and work and kids and all these sort of things and personal activities that are taking your time and energy. And so it's really easy to sort of fall off of the path of where you really want to go. So who will be accountable? Do you have a friend or colleague? Will it be a family member? Will it be a professional coach? Who will really truly keep you accountable? Because tomorrow we're going to be getting into tracking progress. And that's really important to have an accountability partner, because tracking progress, there will be ups and downs, and that's normal. And what you want to do is have somebody to bounce ideas off of so that you can continue, even though there's a little bit of a this, which is normal. Over time, it's doing this, and your life is slowly accelerating so that you're getting to the point where you can rate yourself that you have control, like a level 8 over almost everything in your life. And that's what you really want to strive for, is to get control over almost all elements of life. So for today, we're talking about taking action, which is what are the tools and habits that you tools and skills that you want to learn and habits that you want to form. And that's actually the public challenge for today. So as you work through the workbook for today, go ahead and post in the group because we're giving away a free coaching session to somebody who posts in the group regularly. Post a picture in the group of something you're doing where you're actually taking action with that tool or skill or habit. So take a picture of yourself learning a new skill, using a new tool, or implementing a new habit. Take a picture of yourself doing one of those three things: learning a new skill, implementing a new tool, or implementing a new habit. A picture of yourself doing that today that is going to take you, that you know is going to get you more control in the area of life that you feel like you don't have control and you want more control over. If you're not sure what to do, remember, look at other people who have done it, who are successful in that particular area. What are things that they do? And then think about what are those things that you can implement into your life. Success always leaves clues. So you can always pay attention to what other people are doing. And remember, life changes in an instant. One decision that you will make in this 5-day period could potentially change your life forever. So one new tool or one new skill or one new habit may change your life forever. If you are ready to make the change, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. So if you post a picture with a learning a new skill, implementing a new tool, or implementing a new habit, and comment on your photo on what that skill is and how it's helping you get closer to getting control over your life in that area, you will be entered to win. You'll have another entry to win a free coaching session. So, all right, everybody, have a happy Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow, same time. We are going to be talking about tracking progress tomorrow. Don't jump ahead of the workbook. We've got some special announcements coming as well. So I'll see you tomorrow, 2 o'clock East Coast. Have a great rest of your day. You're officially halfway through the 5-day challenge to get control of your life. Hopefully things are starting to become a little bit clearer. You're starting to feel a little bit more like you're getting a little more control or understanding how to get a little bit more control. And we'll work through a few more exercises tomorrow and Friday, and you're going to feel a lot better by the time we finish this class. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.